as we pursued this person to keep tabs on him. I think your account of the story is probably the most accurate that I've heard out of any of the news broadcasts. From my perspective, as a guy who flies Apaches and has flown over Iraq, you could sometimes spend tens of hours, hundreds of hours reconning an area. And as soon as you find somebody who's suspicious to you, that's when you need to move forward. Either the person either committed a crime or they didn't, but they look suspicious. That's when we would action ground forces to try to determine if that person was actually doing a crime or not. And I think that's exactly what George Zimmerman was trying to do. He spent so many hours on this crime watch. He sees somebody who he thinks is suspicious. That's why he called the cops in the first place. If he had malintent in the beginning, he would have pursued that person without calling the police officer. I believe he was simply trying to keep eyes on the person. Because even if the dispatcher tells him, hey, we don't need you to follow him, that's not an order. It doesn't come from a police officer. Even if the person said, don't follow him, and he didn't follow him, he couldn't be prosecuted because that is not an order from a police officer. It's a dispatcher. So I think
well, that's one of the things. I mean, listen, I would probably say in retrospect, I bet you George Zimmerman himself wishes he never got out of the car that night. But that's not illegal. And nobody's going to know exactly what happened. You have to look at the law. And we're going to go through this again in our next hour here on this program because these are very specific instructions that the jury was given, and there's a certain set of facts that were incontrovertible and overwhelming in the case. There was only one eyewitness. There's only one set of injuries here. And everyone could put their spin and their speculation and their theories and conspiracy theories on top of it, but it doesn't matter. That's not what the jury should look at, but you can't ever predict juries. Anyway, I got to run. Philip, you were great. Good call. Thank you. 800-941-SEAN, Juan Williams and Linda Bodden at the top of the next hour. Look, you've got to plan for your future. You do financial planning, you get insurance, but to get real peace of
fired up when there's anything that tarnishes the shield of the National Football League. Aaron Hernandez, a former teammate of mine, being charged with murder and 5 gun charges. I'm disappointed in a young man, but when you think about the National Football League, I think about the people that are supposed to be their leaders in the National Football League, and I think of Broncos Director of Pro Personnel Tom Hackert, who was charged with a DUI, Matt Russell, Director of Player Personnel, just a few days ago charged with the DUI. You're talking about 2 high-level executives